You got to watch Elon Musk up close, just working, basically starting up, getting a sense of what Twitter was like. Like for him, I think the whole system is new. He didn't know the code base, didn't know how Twitter functioned. How was it to watch him, I guess, ramp up? Like this is basically new employee orientation for Elon Musk. How was that whole thing, just watching him up close?
One of the things I love about Elon is that pretty much most of what he does is in public.
Yeah.
If you've been following along on Twitter, you probably have like a sense of a lot of what he has done. But I think a few things which really stood out to me. One is emphasis on speed, and pretty much every action, question, decision, which in a lot of other environments, definitely in Twitter in the past, would have been debated, discussed, analyzed for months and weeks on end. He has this incredible strong bias towards making rapid progress, and I think
Is it because he's a solo decision maker as opposed to making decision by committees?
that really helps that he's solo decision maker. But there are a lot of other companies which should technically have solo decision makers. A lot of the companies have CEOs who should be a solo decision maker, but I don't think he has a bias to action. And I think his stance often is, hey, let's go try something. If it doesn't work out, we roll it back. It's just software. We'll go try something else. That's how we iterate and find out. And a lot of other companies could do that, and they do. For example, when I was at Facebook way back in the day, they were very much in the, okay, let's go try a bunch of things. If it doesn't work out, it's fine. So that was one. But there's going to be a strong bias towards action. I think the very liberating thing for me was seeing him go, okay, I'm making a decision and I'm ultimately accountable. I think there's a few things which the technology industry has drifted away from over the last decade or so. So often I'll see these like product launches or product being killed. There'll be no name on the blog post. It'll be like, oh, the committee at insert fine company here has decided the wisdom of their ways to go kill something, or to go make a decision, to go take down an account, to go change prices. And this harkens back to a day where like Steve Jobs, or I think like that Larry Ellison in the 90s, having these very strong founder figures who are saying, I'm making this decision. This is on me. If it goes great, if it doesn't, it's also on me. So I think that was really liberating, a fresh reminder. I think if there's one connective tissue through this whole episode between our Chennai trip and what I've been seeing at Twitter, it is kind of a reminder of how technology used to work. Technology companies used to work, and how they actually originally became successful in, at least in the 2000s, late 90s, 2000s era. Okay. So that's one with Elon. I think the other thing which really struck me about Elon is his incredible bias towards simplicity and first principles, where very often I think you get locked up in these layers of abstraction about part technological, part people driven. And I think anybody who works in the technology industry, you would have been in a meeting where you're so far removed from what a customer is seeing or what the basics are that you're like, what are we even talking about anymore? And pretty much every discussion I saw with Elon was very much about the basics, right? Which is very much about what is the simplest possible thing. And if there's the simplest
what
possible...
could be like an example?
So like, for example, there was this big debate at one time, or in any company, there could have been a big debate about what the pricing for, say, the verification badge should be.
That was controversial.
Yes, but you can imagine some company would hire a high price consultant. They would do months and months of studies, etc. But the way Elon approached it, and trust me, if you've been following his tweets, you've been following the story, he basically picked a price point. And I think his approach is, it's a great start. If it doesn't work, we'll try and change it. If it works, amazing. And I think that goes to pretty much every other decision as well. And it's just very liberating to go, okay, we don't want to sit in committees and meetings and go watch decks of research for months and months and end. Let's go try something. Let's go throw this out in the world, see how the world reacts, and then learn from it. I think his bias towards speed, simplicity, and taking just clear, crisp ownership was really interesting. The third part, I think this has been controversial, but I think I've had so many people talk to us about how inspired they were.
Subscribe to the YouTube channel, The Good Time Show by Aarti and Shriram.